This is part 1 of the calculator section of the 2015 SAT. So grab your calculator and let's go. John runs at different speeds as part of his training program. The graph shows his target heart rate at different times during his workout. On which interval is the target heart rate strictly increasing, then strictly decreasing? So increasing means when does it go up, and decreasing means when does it go down. So we're looking for a period of time where it goes up, then down. And we can clearly see that it's right here. And that is 40 to 60 minutes. So our answer is B. If y equals kx, where k is a constant, and y equals 24, when x equals 6, what is the value of y when x equals 5? So we need to find the value of k first. So we have y equals 24 equals k, and x is 6. So we divide 6 to both sides and we get 4 equals k. And now we want to find when x equals 5. So we want to find what the value of y is when x equals 5. So we have y equals k, which is 4, times x, which is 5. So y equals 20. C is our answer. In the figure above, lines L and M are parallel and lines S and T are parallel. If the measure of angle 1 is 35 degrees, what is the measure of angle 2? So angle 1 is 35 degrees. If angle 1 is 35 degrees, then we know this angle is also 35 degrees, and then this angle is also 35 degrees. So angle 2 has this relation to angle 1. So we know that angle 2 plus angle 1 equals 180 degrees. So angle 2 equals 145 degrees. Our answer is D. If 16 plus 4x is 10 more than 14, what is the value of 8x? So we have 16 plus 4x is 10 more than 14, so it's 24. Let's solve for x. We have 4x equals 8, and then x equals 2. Then what is the value of 8x? Well, then it's 8 times 2, which is 16. Which of the following graphs best shows a strong negative association between D and T? So a negative association means as D increases, T decreases, or the other way around. As D decreases, T increases. So we can see at this first graph that as D gets bigger, T gets smaller. So that's a negative association. However, when we compare it to D, the graph of D, the points are closer together in the same relation. And it asks which graph is the best, has the strongest negative association. So our answer will be D, because the points are closer together. So we're given 1 decagram equals 10 grams and 1,000 milligrams equals 1 gram. A hospital stores one type of medicine in 2 decagrammed containers. Based on the information given in the box above, how many 1 milligram doses are there in one 2 decagram container? So we're given 2 decagram. We're going to multiply this by the conversion of 10 grams per 1 decagram. So then the decas cancel out. But we don't want grams, we want milligrams. And we know that there's 1,000 milligrams in 1 gram. So now the grams cancel out. And we're left with 2 times 10 times 1,000. And that'll be our answer. So we'll do 1,000 times 10 will be 10,000. Times 2 is 20,000. So our answer is 20,000 milligrams. The number of rooftops with solar panel installations in 5 cities is shown in the graph above. If the total number of installations is 27,500, what is an appropriate label for the vertical axis of the graph? So we know the vertical axis is number of installations. And let's keep in mind that it only goes up to 9. So if we're going by 9, then in tens, the highest it would go is 90. In hundreds, the highest it would go would be 900, then 9,000, and tens of thousands, which would be 90,000. So if we look at this data, we can see it's clearly not A or B. If we were to do tens of thousands, then this would be 90,000. But we know that our maximum for the total is 27,500. So the only answer that makes sense is C. 8. For what value of n is the absolute value of n minus 1 plus 1 equal to 0? Well, let's say we have some number x plus 1 equals 0. The only way to add 1 to a number and get 0 is if that number is negative 1. So we want to find when n minus 1 is equal to negative 1. And that's when n equals 0. But the quantity is an absolute value. So if we have n equal to 0, and we have the absolute value of negative 1 plus 1 equals 0, we'll get 2 equals 0, which isn't true. So there's no value of n that makes this true. So both questions 9 and 10 will refer to A equals 1052 plus 1.08 t. The speed of sound the speed of a sound wave in air depends on the air temperature. The formula above shows the relationship between A, the speed of a sound wave in feet per second, and T, the air temperature, in degrees Fahrenheit. Which of the following expresses the air temperature in terms of the speed of a sound wave? And so we want to take our original equation, which is A equals 1052 plus 1.08 t, and we want to get t by itself instead of a. So our first step is subtracting 1052 to both sides, and then dividing by 1.08. And we want to see which answer on the left equals the answer we got here. And that's going to be A. So our answer is A. At which of the following air temperatures will the speed of a sound wave be closest to 1,000 feet per second? Well, then we're going to plug in 1,000 for A. And then we want to simplify this expression. So we'll subtract 1052, and we'll get negative 52 equals 1.08 t, and then we'll divide by 1.08. I highly recommend using a calculator for this. And we'll get negative 48.148 equals t. And the closest value to negative 48.148 is B, negative 48 degrees Fahrenheit. Which of the following numbers is not a solution of the inequality 3x minus 5 is greater than or equal to 4x minus 3? Well, let's simplify this. We have 3x minus 5, we'll just say is equal to 4x minus 3. Well, we can keep it as greater than or equal to. And we're going to add 3 to the left and subtract 3x to the right. So we'll get negative 2 is greater than or equal to x. So this means the inequality is true when the number that we put in for x is either equal to negative 2 or less than negative 2. And the only answer from A, B, C, and D is negative 1. So A. Number of seeds in each of 12 apples. Based on the histogram above of the following, which is the closest to the average arithmetic mean number of seeds per apple. So this is the number of apples. This is the number of seeds. So we have 2 apples with 3 seeds. We have 4 apples with 5 seeds. 1 apple with 6 seeds. 2 apples with 7 seeds. And 3 apples with 9 seeds. So what we're going to do is we're going to add up all the seeds and then divide by how many apples there are. So we'll say 2 times 3 plus 4 times 5 plus 1 times 6 plus 2 times 7 plus 3 times 9. And then we'll divide by, we have 1, 5, 7, 9, 12 apples. So divide by 12. And that's approximately 6.083 repeating, which is closest to 6. Our answer is C. A group of 10th grade students responded to a survey that asked which math course they were currently enrolled in. The survey data were broken down as shown in the table above. Which of the following categories accounts for approximately 19% of all the student respondents? And we're given females taking geometry, females taking algebra 2, males taking geometry, or males taking algebra 1. So we can focus on those 4 categories. We don't have to look at the rest of them. And it says, of all respondents. So that means the total, not just the total of men or total of women. So it's going to be 310 is the number we use. And so females taking geometry will be 53 over 310. And this is approximately 50 over 300, which is 1/6, which is not 20%. 19 is approximately 20%. So we're looking for something which is about 1/5 of the total. Then we have females taking algebra 2, which is 62 over 310, which is approximately 60 over 300, which is 1/5. We're just going to, which satisfies what we're looking for, but we just want to make sure there's not a more specific or closer answer because we're just taking the approximate values. So males taking geometry, 44 over 310, which is less than 60 over 300. Males taking algebra 1. Oh, that was this. So males taking geometry will be 59 over 310, which is approximately 60 over 300, just 1/5. So now we have to look specifically at these fractions and find their exact values. So 62 over 310 is 0.259 divided by 310 is 0.19. So look how close those two answers were. But the correct answer will be 59 over 310, which is males taking geometry. The table above lists the lengths to the nearest inch of a random sample of 31 brown bullhead fish. The outlier measurement of 24 inches is an error. Of the mean, median, and range of the values listed, which will change the most if the 24-inch measurement is removed from the data? So if we remove the 24 from the data, our new range will be 16 minus 8, which will be 8. If the 24 was still there, it would be 16. So this is a change of 8. Because there's so much data, it is most likely that this is going to be the biggest change because the 24 is such a big outlier compared to everything else. Because all the other data is so close, we know it can't be the median because if we started going like this, the middle is somewhere around here. And so our median is still going to be around 12. Because there's so much data, the mean shouldn't be affected by that much. But just to prove it, we can add everything up without the 24 and with the 24 and see what happens. So we have 8 plus 9 times 3 plus 10 times 2 plus 11 times 2 plus 12 times 4 plus 13 times 3 plus 14 times 2 plus 15 times 2 plus 16. That's 238. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. By 3 is 21, but we took out the 24, so we have 20. Our average without the 24 is 11.9. If we do it with the 24, we'll have 262 divided by 21, which will be 12.48. So our range will be the biggest change. Total cost of renting a boat by the hour. What does the c-intercept represent in the graph? So the c-intercept is at time 0, meaning we haven't spent any time on the boat yet. So we know that that cost is not directly correlated to the time because we haven't put any time into it. Time is 0. So that means there's some other value that is driving the cost up, which would be the initial value or the initial cost of renting the boat. So our answer is A. Which of the following represents the relationship between H and C? Well, we know that the c-intercept is 5. So when H is 0, C equals 5. So we can say C equals 5 plus some value times H. And so to find that some value times H, we want to look at the slope. So this first point will be 0, 5. If you look at the second point, that is 1, 8. And slope is our rise over run, or our change in y over change of x. So we're going to say 8 minus 5 divided by 1 minus 0. It's going to be 3 over 1, which is 3. So our answer should be C equals 5 plus 3h, which is C. The complete graph of the function f is shown in the xy plane above. For what value of x is a value of f of x at its minimum? And we're given f of x equals y. So when f of x is at its minimum, y is at its minimum. So we're going to look for the smallest value of y on the graph, which is right here at -2. And so when y is -2, x is -1, -2, -3. So b is -3. In the plane in the xy plane, if 0, 0 is a solution to the system of inequalities above, which of the following relationship between a and b must be true? So let's start by plugging in 0, 0 for the two inequalities given above. We'll get 0 is less than 0 plus a, and we're given 0 is greater than 0 plus b. So if we simplify this, we have 0 is greater than a, 0 is less than a, and 0 is greater than b. So we can say that a being greater than 0, b being less than 0, we can say b is less than a, which is a. A food truck sells salads for $6.50 each and drinks for $2 each. The food truck's revenue from selling a total of 209 salads and drinks in one day was $836.50. How many salads were sold that day? So we know 209 will equal the total number of salads plus drinks that were sold. And we know that $836.50 will equal the cost of a salad times the amount of salads sold plus the cost of a drink times the amount of drinks sold. So now we have a system of equations with two inequalities. We have two equations. So that means we can solve for one to find the other. And because we're looking for salads, we're going to solve for the drinks first. So we're going to say 836.5 minus 6.5s equals 2d. Then we're going to divide by 2. And so 836.5 divided by 2 is 418.25 minus 3.25s equals d. And now we're going to plug this d into this first equation there. So now we have 209 equals s plus 418.25 minus 3.25d. And we want to get s alone because that's the number of salads were sold. And so we're going to subtract 418.25 to the other side. So we're going to get, sorry, this should be an s. So after subtracting 418.25, we get negative 209.25 equals 1s minus 3.25s is negative 2.25s. Divide negative 2.25s to the others, negative 2.25 to the other side to solve for x. We get 93 equals salad. So we sold 93 salads. Answer is B.